Hello everyone, welcome to another lesson, still on solving linear equation, specifically focusing on case 7 that deals with equation containing fraction. So this is our last case in this series. So if you missed the first 6 cases, please check the description for case 1 to 6. So let's look on some examples, right? So example 1, we're given x over 5 minus 3 over 7 equal to 1 over 5. How would you go about solving a problem like this? The first thing that you need to do is to take a close look at all the denominators. So we know that we're working with 5 and 7. What you need to do is to determine the lowest common multiple of 5 and 7, which would be 35 in this case. Now, after that, you are going to use the lowest common multiple to multiply each term in the given problem. All right. So as you note here, the lowest common multiple of 5 and 7 is 35, right? So if we are going to use 35 to multiply each individual term in the bracket, how would we represent this? We would represent this as 35 times x over 5 minus 3 over 7 times 35 equal 1 over 5 times 35. You may be wondering why I put 35 in front and then at the back here. Remember, multiplication are commutative, so the order does not matter, all right? So we can put it anywhere we want. Now, what are we going to do here? We're going to simplify at this stage. By multiplying each term by 35, what it allows us to do is to get rid of the fraction. So note here that 5 can go into itself 1, and 5 can go into this 35 7 times, right? Also here, 7 can go into 7 once, and 7 can go into 37 5 times. And for this one, 5 into 5 will give us 1, and 5 into 35 will give us 7. So what you will have in your next line is actually 7 times x minus 5 times 3 equal 7 times 1, right? So at this stage, what are you going to do? Simplify again. So 7 times x will just give us 7x, and negative 5 times 3 will give us negative 15, and 7 times 1 will give us 7. At this stage, what are you going to do? If you look closely at our equation here, we note that we have constant on the right and constant on the left. So what we want to do is to group the constant on one side. Now, we already have 7 over here on the right, so we want to transfer this negative 15 to the right-hand side, right? How can we do that? By doing the opposite, right? Which is to add 15 to both sides. How would you represent this? You would represent this as 7x minus 15 plus 15 equal 7 plus 15. At this stage, what are you going to do? You're going to simplify. When you simplify, what you will end up with is just 7x equal 22. As you can see here, 7 plus 15 will give us 22, and negative 15 plus 15 will give us 0, and 0 plus 7x is just 7x. Are we finished at this stage? No. Remember, we want x by itself, and this x is being multiplied by 7. So how can we transfer this 7 over where 22 is? We can do that by dividing both sides by 7. How would we represent this in our book? We will represent this as 7x all over 7 equal 22 all over 7. At this stage, we're going to simplify, and that will give us our solution. So note that 7x over 7 is just x, which is equal to 22 over 7, or as a mixed fraction, it is just 3 and 1/7, and you are finished. So example 2, we're given 4x over 9 minus 3x plus 2 over 3 equal 4 over 9. At this stage, what are you going to do? You're simply going to Determine the lowest common multiple for the denominators that is given in the original problem. When you determine the lowest common multiple, you are going to use it to multiply each term. So note that the lowest common multiple in this case of 3 and 9 is just 9. So we're going to take 9 to multiply each individual term. So how would you represent this in your book? You would represent this as 9 times 4x over 9 minus 3x plus 2 over 3 times 9 equal to 4 over 9 times 9. Note, by multiplying each term by the lowest common multiple, it allows us to eliminate the fraction. So here, note that 9 into 9 will give us 1. So what we're left back with here is just 1 times 4x. And here, 3 into 3 is 1, and 3 into this 9 will give us 3. So what we left back with here is just 3 times the numerator, which is just 3x plus 2. And here, 9 into 9 will give us 1. So what we're left back with is just 1 times 4. So at this stage, what are we going to do? We're going to apply the distributive law to remove the brackets and just simplify. So note here, 1 times 4x will just give us 4x. Here, when you're removing this bracket, you have to be very careful. You have to pay attention to this minus 3 and use it to multiply each term inside of the bracket. What it will do is to change the sign or negate the sign of each of the term that was originally in the bracket. So as you note, negative 3 times a positive 3x will give us a negative 9x. Negative 3 times a positive 2 will give us a negative 6. And 1 times 4 will give us 4. At this stage, all you're going to do is to simplify. So note that 4x minus 9x will give us negative 5x. Put back our minus 6. Put back our equal sign and put back our 4. So at this stage, what are we going to do? If you look closely here, you know that we have constant term on both sides, right? And what we're going to do, we're going to group the constant term on the right. So which means that we want to transfer this negative 6 to the right-hand side. So how can we do that? We can do that by adding 6 to both sides. How would you represent this? You would represent this as negative 5x minus 6 plus 6 equal 4 plus 6. At this stage, what are you going to do? You're going to simplify. So note, when you simplify, here, all you will end up with is just negative 5x is equal to 10. Are you finished at this stage? No. Why? Because we don't have x by itself. So note here, x is being multiplied by negative 5. So in order to transfer this negative 5 over where 10 is, we can do the opposite, which is to divide both sides by negative 5. How would you state this in your book? You would state this as negative 5x all over negative 5 equal 10 all over negative 5. At this stage, what you're going to do is to simplify, and that will give you your result. So note here, negative 5x divided by negative 5 will give us a positive x, and 10 divided by negative 5 will just give us a negative 2. And you are finished at this stage. To test your understanding, here are some questions for you to try. Thank you for watching, and do enjoy the rest of your day.